o'clock hour of Chicago Now. I'm Gabriella Primus.
And I'm Tia Ewing.
It's so good to see you. Were you able to enjoy a long holiday weekend?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Having a sick kid is never a good thing.
Yeah,
and then you getting sick,
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you both are feeling a lot better.
Me too.
I had to work a little bit, so it was a long weekend, but it was a good weekend. The weather was amazing. All right, we have a lot coming up here at the 11 o'clock hour of Chicago Now, including a very special guest. They say you can't buy class, but you can buy a ticket to see the Countess in real life. Real Housewives star Luann de Lesseps. She's bringing her cabaret back to Chicago, and she's coming to the Vic Theater next weekend. We'll tell you all about it. She's going to spill all the tea for us,
I'm looking forward to talking to her because she hasn't been doing cabaret like her whole life, it doesn't sound like. So it'll be interesting to see how she even
But she has some hits. I know that for sure. I've told you before, I know Real Housewives, but I'm not like into the franchises. Maybe this is going to change me, but I know who she is, that's for sure, because I've seen her all over social media. And then we also have a change that's coming to the merchandise mart. We've seen those beautiful art displays show up. This one has a very special meaning behind it, so we're going to be chatting with some folks with Arts of Life that's celebrating 25 years of creativity and community.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But first we got to talk about what's trending out there. And the first one, I think, left a lot of people with their jaws really on the ground. And I'm talking about the little boy who was walking along the monorail. This is 100 feet high.
Is it really that high?
100 feet high, Hersheypark, Pennsylvania. It was closed at the time. They did come out and say there should have been barricades up to prevent him from getting up there. But here's my question, and I always go back to parenting. How in the heck did a parent, I know your kids can wander off, but how in the heck did you not realize, like, oh, he's up on a monorail? That's a big deal. And at one point in the crowd, have you seen the video? Have you seen this video? You know what,
Tia, like I said, I was scrolling through social media. I saw the articles with just a screenshot of the video, so I could see him on a high platform. I didn't realize how high it was.
100 feet up. And the craziest part is like the fact that he even got that far to climb up there. You got to think about to climb up that high. I mean, little kids, they're used to climbing on, couches and stuff like that, but they're not like avid mountain climbers. So to climb that high, I would think it didn't take, it wasn't like a minute that it took. And so someone in the crowd did yell that I thought I heard that he has autism. So, and it did appear like he was covering his ears because the crowd, sometimes with kids with autism, noise can really be, they can be very sensitive to it. But you gotta make sure that you're watching your kids at all time, because what if the train was running? You gotta look at all sides. What if he fell? So there's so many circumstances surrounding this one. And my first thought was parenting. Parents, we gotta do a better job of keeping track of all of our kids. And I know it can be tough, because sometimes I'm with every last one of the kids in our family, and it can be tough. They can get away pretty quickly. But in that case, I think he's 6 or 7, I think is how old he was. And so, I can't give that one a pass.
It can't be unsupervised for that long. You never know the circumstances, but we are lucky that I guess there's people there who took care of him, who saved him. Yeah, so that's the plus in that situation, that it didn't have, a tragic ending, but it was hard to watch that video for sure. Oh my gosh, I might have to take a closer look at it.
Yeah, go back and look at it when you get a chance.
Okay, we have another video that's going viral. It kind of does every year. It's the husband calling contest in Iowa. I'm getting married soon. Yeah. I got to practice. You also got to practice. You sent this one in. Okay, let's try to play it if we can. But essentially, I think it's at the state fair, and you're able to hear, they're sitting up on the stage, the wives, or just women, and they're doing their husband calling contest.
Yes,
actually,
this is in Iowa.
I shouldn't say women. You don't know who's up there.
True, and this was in Iowa. And if we have it, can we play it? Do we have it, guys? Do we have the video to be able to play it? We do? Okay, let's play it. Our live studio audience.
The devil went down to the Iowa State Fair. She was looking for a husband to call. She said, Stan, why are you driving down the road on the tractor with no clothes on? Stan! Irving, come on, Irving. Okay, that's it. Hey, stop what you're doing, 'cause it's summertime. table. Get it when it's hot, get it when it's hot, cause I love my husband and I cannot lie. He drives me wild and I can't deny. When I walk out in this field and I call my husband's name, he better get his butt inside. So, get your butt, get your butt, get your butt inside. I'm making your favorite chicken thighs. Get your butt, get your butt, get your butt inside, cause it's time for supper.
It's almost hard to even listen to in your ear.
No, it's really hard. Actually,
it really is. I have to, I turn mine down too. Okay, so what I like most about it, let's start with this part, the lead up, the story kind
There's
of.
There's a storyline. That's what I was going to say.
Who knew?
That was my first comment. Yeah, I like how they can make it their own. Got to get my husband in the field.
Yeah. What did you think about the calling? If you called your soon-to-be husband the way that they called their husband, what do you think the reaction would be?
I thought you were going to have me do a husband call.
I am. That's the next.
His reaction would be like, what? And then it'd probably a couple cuss words like, what the?
What would you say? How would you do it?
His name's Brendan.
So what would you say?
Oh, no. Do we have to say husband? Brendan! That's the first thing.
What? Gabby.
I don't know why. That just sent a chill down my entire body.
I feel like they should do it at the Illinois State Fair and have you come out.
Hold on. Now you need to do one for Early.
I know, and most people don't believe that's his real name. I don't even know how I would do it. I feel almost ashamed.
No, whatever comes to mind.
Early!
You would love that.
How are we going to continue the show after this?
I don't know. I think people are changing the.
Almost feel lightheaded after that.
No, I'm telling you, I just got a whole chill from up down my body. Anyway.
Early!
So I do have a question. I don't know if you can answer this, but I know that you were one of the people who found this video.
Yes.
Can the champion from the year before come back on?
I didn't go that far. As soon as I saw it, I was like, we got to get this on the show. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't look in depth to see what you win or anything. I guess you're just called, the husband calling champion of that particular year. I don't know what you win, but I was so fascinated by the video that I was like, I gotta send this in. So I didn't go that far, but I'm guessing you probably can't come back the exact following year consecutively.
Yeah, you can't be the reigning queen and then come back.
I don't know. Maybe they'll write us and tell us.
Bren.
So funny. You got to try it and record his reaction.
Well, I got to also remember the first time around.
Okay, so we had another viral video. There's another one that I found. I really need to stay offline.
We have a handful of guys.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
I'm online a little too much, obviously. But when it comes to this one, I was really intrigued because I actually want to interview this young man because I'm curious of how you're in high school and you also run basically a business. He's a barber. And he's cutting hair. I believe he's 17 years old. He goes to Mount Carmel High School. And do we have the video to be able to show? So let's play the video. We can probably talk over the video because I don't know if there's much sound with the video. Is there sound with the video too?
And is this posted on TikTok, Instagram?
This is on Instagram. Okay. I think he has 45,000 followers. His name on Instagram is, there it is. It's Cuts by Trey Day. And he's basically, he is a good barber. And my husband goes to get his haircut. I'm sure Brendan goes to get his haircut. And you've seen sometimes, I'm like, don't go back to that barber. Mm-hmm. I've said that before. This kid is really good. And I'm just curious of how he's handling his workload and his business at the same time. And really, I want to bring him on our show because I think it's a good example of what more teens should be like.
I think so too. We should have him cut somebody's hair on the show.
That would be really cool, wouldn't it?
Give someone a transformation. That would be really awesome. Even one of our engineers, someone who needs a haircut. Yeah, we got him covered. We got him covered.
Line me up in the back. All right, so this next story, okay, so we had the whole debacle with the CEO being caught, remember, on camera
we talked about it for weeks.
At the concert. What was it
Coldplay
again?
concert.
Coldplay, that's right. And they were ducking down. Well, this one, I don't think you can run from this one. So this is Nestle CEO Laurent Fritz, is how you pronounce his name. He's been ousted over inappropriate workplace relationship with a subordinate. So maybe somebody that he was overseeing, he's supposed to be the boss. They're supposed to be reporting to him. And he was in this relationship. The one thing I didn't get to find out about him was he married. I didn't get to go that far to find out if he was married. But what's really interesting is because of this behavior, he's leaving the company without any exit package.
Wow.
So he's not getting any type of benefits as a result of this.
Right?
Yeah, if he was under contract, He's not getting the remainder of his contract, and it sounds like he's done. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like maybe there had to be a clause or something in his contract that he can't even fight this.
Yeah, they must have had problems before.
Yeah. So very interesting. I think that, you know, when it comes to morals in our society right now, it's a lot of questions about, you know, having good morals and good character. And this is one of those stories that kind of brings that up, you know. Why? I guess the thing is, why not disclose it to the employer and let them decide if they're going to accept it or tell you it's not a good idea?
You know, that's the thing, because you don't want to stop someone, not to defend him, but stop someone from seeing someone in the workplace. You know, you can start a relationship. You know, maybe that's where one of the most loving, long-lasting relationships starts is in the workplace, but you have to disclose that information, especially if he probably saw that in his contract, got scared once it got too far. Who knows? I'm really just speculating.
Yeah, I don't know either, but
yeah, it must be interesting. Oh, it looks like we changed shots here. I don't know if that's real life or is that just on our monitor.
I think that's just on our
monitor. We are the home of the Bears, people.
We are home of the Bears.
This weekend.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things where it's like, you know, it's unfortunate, and then now everybody knows. So your future is like every door you walk into, people are going to think this first.
Exactly.
Without giving the guy a chance.
Especially
so
with
I'm going to give him a
couple.
chance and say, hey, just do better, you know, next time. But you're right. Sometimes people spend so much time at work that you can. Next thing you know, you are in love with somebody.
I think I remember seeing some kind of article. I don't know if they had a statistic in there or what it was. It must have been years ago, where that's one of the leading places where you find your future partner is at the workplace. You're there
so much.
8 hours a day, 40 hours a week on average, and they say proximity. That's one of the biggest things that makes a relationship work. Okay, we're going to figure out some problems on our end, so we're going to send it to break for now.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. We're going to keep on with the trending topics, and I know that you're a big Real Housewives fan.
Yes, I am. You know, I get into like certain franchises over others, but Real Housewives of Potomac is a big one, and there was a big scandal that unfolded in the last season regarding Karen Huger, who is considered the grand dame of that particular season and that show, that franchise, because she's kind of like the mother of the show.
Okay.
She's the oldest on the show, and she had a DUI. Ended up going to jail, and today she was released from prison. Now, here's what's interesting about this. This is crazy that I could talk about this because I watch these shows so much. What's interesting about it is they wrapped up the season, the recording for this particular new season that's about to roll out. And so they've already put out the trailer and everything. So people are speculating, are they going to start filming again because she was such a big deal of the show? The fact that people know about the DUI, I know it's bad news, but we have seen where when these stars are connected to some bad news, that then viewership goes up.
That's true.
People follow the scandal. So it's interesting, and I think all of the fans that watch this franchise have been asking, are we going to see them filming? Are there going to be any little clips released showing that they're filming? So she was released today. I can't remember when this new season drops, but everyone that watches it, including myself, we believe that they have time to start filming now. To catch up and include her in the upcoming season.
Every time we talk about this, it's only been a couple times, I'm like, man, I really gotta watch the shows. But you gotta give me the lineup though. Okay, who do I watch? What franchise do I watch first? Which one second? I do have a question for you though, because I go on, just Reddit and I scroll sometimes. What do you think about Real Housewives of Chicago?
I feel like they need to call me.
I agree, but I feel like there's been rumors for a while, right?
There's been rumors for
that they're
a
gonna
very
have
long
a
time.
franchise here.
And if they called me, I would go do it in a heartbeat. And let me tell you why. Because people,
I'm going to tell you this. One, I mean, that's
so
the one that's
I know every time
camera.
we talk about this kind of stuff on this show, this is my camera. Yeah. If Real Housewives of Chicago happens, call me. My storyline is unmatched. I'm telling you. I got all these children, okay? I had one biologically, but there's more. We're all in a house together. It is a zoo. It's crazy. There's businesses. There's me. Come follow.
Very entertaining husband too.
Very entertaining husband. What I
Good
find,
looking people.
So what I'll talk about when it comes to Real Housewives of Chicago, there's so many women, I know I'm being funny about myself, but there's so many women here that have really great stories that I would love to see play out on a national stage. And that's really what the shows, I think, miss sometimes. It gets so caught up in the drama of it that you miss the real part of it, that this person may be considered an icon in their community, but they are still dropping their kids off.
Yeah, they're hustling.
Every day in the drop-off line. They are still trying to, manage a household and cook and do all these things and still juggle it all. So that's what I miss about these shows. And they call it Real Housewives, but most of these women not married to nobody.
No.
They don't have a husband.
Yeah, a lot of them are single,
They don't have a boyfriend. So like, I watch the shows. My husband hates that I watch these shows. And I know you don't watch. But I watch them because it's almost like a relief. Like if you don't really do anything, like I don't really do anything bad. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a smoker. I'm not a partier. This is my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it.
And the fashion.
See, and I think that's what I would really like, because I remember watching the Bachelor and loving like the clothes of the contestants, the Bachelorette, like the Bachelorettes. Yeah, right?
Yes,
yeah,
Bachelorette.
Right? Yeah. I would love seeing their outfits, and that's really all I watched it for. I only kept up a couple seasons, but
yeah, that's what I watched for.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hair changing.
A couple of the threads also said that it would be like Hinsdale, it would be Real Housewives of Hinsdale, of what were some other neighborhoods I saw?
Well, you could pick people
Evanston.
from those neighborhoods. Those
Right, it could be all-encompassing Chicago,
yeah,
couldn't it?
I mean, there's so many different neighborhoods in Chicago that you would still have to call it Chicago.
Yeah.
But you could definitely pick a housewife in Northwest Indiana, Hinsdale. I mean, there's so many communities of affluence here that you could choose from if that's what you want. But do you remember this? And maybe you don't. Real Housewives of Atlanta, when that launched, which is really kind of the springboard for all of these other Real Housewives, they started, and most of those big homes and stuff were rented. And one of the news organizations went back after the season had aired to go look for said person at the home, and nobody was there.
No
They were
way.
rentals.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, they were totally pretending to be, you know, affluent and rich and wealthy, and it was not their real life. And now, though, it is their real life. So I love me some Real Housewives of Atlanta. Yeah, so that's Real Housewives of Atlanta that you're looking at there. That cast, though, doesn't really exist. I think the picture went by too fast, but there's really only one member of the cast that's still there, and not the original member. She wasn't even an original member, but the longest person that has been there, which is actually no. Oh, you got Drew Sidora. Everybody else on that picture there is gone. And this is the thing. It's always interesting too to see over time, you know, once those checks start rolling in over time, like people get, I don't want to say this because it sounds mean, but they look more and more gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh no.
I mean, because I'm going to be honest.
It happen with celebrities, singers.
Money makes you look real good.
It does. It does.
So send me
Unfortunately.
some. Come on, send me some. Yeah.
If you see something you don't like, you can fix it. I don't mind.
Yeah, so it's been interesting to see like people evolve. You're like, whoa, something's different, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Which, you know,
yeah.
to
And they
each
have the
its
best
own.
of the best.
What were you yelling?
You're never ugly, you're just broke.
You're never ugly, you're just broke. That's
what
what our
someone in the
live
audience
studio audience just said. Interesting live studio audience we have here.
Yes, true, but that's a true statement.
really outspoken,
and,
man.
Sometimes I feel that way, like, man, if I had, have you ever thought that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not necessarily that you would change something about yourself, but you would have so much flexibility to do something different with yourself.
Well, there's so many things that you could do with like longevity, right? Like you could do IVs, and that gives you the right amount of vitamins and supplements that you need. There's red light therapy. There's all this
So
really
many
like
things.
holistic medicine that's expensive. You know, insurance doesn't cover it most of the time. That I think wouldn't hurt anyone. Or even eating more organic. You know, you have money. Sometimes that even shows through your skin and stuff.
That's true, because you have less stress. I don't know if I would do, you know, some people go too far with these facelifts. I'm gonna be honest. There are some celebrities right now. Now, I will say, and you know, I'm not a fan of the Kardashians, but Kris Jenner's facelift is amazing.
Oh, it is.
It looks, I mean, I don't know who she went to in
That's
comparison
top of the
to
line.
some of the other people, but yeah. I think it looks amazing. And so every time I look at her, I'm like, I have to give it credit. And again, I think she came out and said, I think it was a facelift. But even if it was just filler, Botox, whatever, it looks good. And she needs to pass that around to other people, because some people look shocking. And you're like, whoa.
If we could know all of their secrets, I think
we could guess. You don't think so? If you did a before
I'm
and
saying
a now.
like of their secrets, like who they use, you know, like maybe little cuts that they can do and stuff too. You know, I was just gonna say something and now I'm forgetting.
Go ahead.
What the heck? No,
You're too young to have memory lapse.
It totally just blanked. I totally just blanked.
So there we go. That's her before.
Oh,
Thank
hey,
you guys
honey.
for pulling this up. And this is her after. And I'm gonna be honest, the right does make it obvious that she had a facelift, but if I had to be very frank, it still looks
Much better.
soft. It looks, you know, age appropriate. She still looks like an older woman. It's not that, you know, it makes her look like you know, 100 years younger. Not that she looks 100, but you get my point. It's like subtle. It doesn't look jarring.
I would agree. Yeah, it is age appropriate. That's the key. You know, this is what I was going to say, and it's a little controversial maybe. I never think anyone looks good with lip filler. I never really see anyone that has looked really, really good with lip filler. People always go overboard, I think. I'm
going to say this. I think that, listen, okay, when it comes to lips, I get it. Some people are born with fuller lips, okay? And that can go, you know, across different races, etc. Okay, so we know that. There are some black people that are born with thin lips. There are some black people born with, you know, thick lips. And so I've seen all kinds of people get lip filler. Yeah. I'm not against you getting lip filler. Just make sure you go to the right person. I'm not against you getting anything done.
I guess that's what I'm saying. It's hard to pull off.
You gotta go to the right person.
Go to the right person. You have to go to someone who really knows what they're doing because it travels. You know, and again, people go overboard a lot of times.
They do. But I think unfortunately, I think social media plays into that because when you talk about people, for example, like the Kardashians who have had surgeries, and now maybe you followed them and you went and did what they did, the implants or BBL, whatever it is that they got, because I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not their doctor, but I'm looking at it, so it's something. Before and after, it's something. And then it looks like it's less of whatever that is. Now you followed them to the cliff to get whatever this is. Yeah. They have the money to get it out, but you're still stuck with it. Yeah. You know, you're still stuck with whatever it is that you decided to get. So whatever you get, just know that oftentimes it's permanent. As you get older, it may drop. It may not look as good as it did when you were 20. So I think that's the part that people forget. And with lip filler, don't you have to get it dissolved?
Yeah, you have to get it dissolved.
To get it out?
So I just think, yes, you have to get it dissolved. It travels sometimes after a period of time once you get it like redone over and over again, I believe at least. Man, look, I would love to have nice, big, supple lips.
Yeah, me too, actually.
But look, I also know that it does not fit my face too. Yeah. But yeah, you know, it travels, you have to get it dissolved, you're putting all these different chemicals in your lips, and I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest, I thought about it.
But at the end of the day,
I did think about doing it.
You did?
Yes.
You have beautiful lips.
Well, I think sometimes though in your mind, that's part of, I think, what happens with this whole plastic surgery and aesthetic life that we're in. I mean, we're in a whole world of it right now. And I think sometimes we don't see ourselves the way that other people see us. And so you do travel down this road of what if. And I went to a place with my husband. He went to get, I think it's called dermaplaning or in Northwest Indiana.
Is that the taking off kind of the fuzz?
They do.
Or the layer
they do that little needle on your face.
Oh, it was like microneedling.
Thank you. Microneedling.
Hey, a little needle.
And he did it with a salmon, with like some salmon eggs or something. And what I thought was really interesting about it was I was there and I was like, well, man, do you do lips? And the young lady was like, well, yeah. And I was like, huh. And she was like, I'm gonna tell you right now, everyone that gets it, everyone that thinks about getting it, when I tell them how much it burns, she was like, people usually rethink it. And that was enough for me to be like, no. But in my mind, I don't see what you say. You said I had what did you say? Supple lips. And I'm like, I don't see that. So I think that's the world that we're in. Unfortunately, I think sometimes we don't see ourselves the same way, and social media plays into it.
Big time. At the end of the day,
you're beautiful.
You do you, boo.
Yep.
All right. We don't care what you get done. You're going to look beautiful either way. This is just our opinion, okay?
Yes.
Hey, we're going to have much more right after this break.
Welcome back. So we are talking about art on the MART. I'm sure if you've ever gone past the merchandise MART, I spent a lot of my childhood there because my mother worked in that building. But since all of these years later, they have art in action because it's moving art.
It's beautiful.
It is absolutely stunning. But this time it's a little different. The Chicagoland nonprofit Arts of Life will celebrate 25 years of supporting artists with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And this art will be displayed on the MART. And here to talk to us about it is Vincent Uribe, Director of Exhibitions and Creative Partnerships. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So let's talk about this. Are these artists creating the art now? How long did it take to get to this point?
Yeah, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary as a nonprofit organization supporting artists with disabilities. This video projection that we're premiering on the art has work featured by several of our studio artists, and then it was the motion graphics were animated by one of our longtime volunteers, Lisa Armstrong. So it's a combination of several of our different artists' works that are sort of all blended together, including our founding artist, Veronica Kukulich, which I think is that work that you're seeing there on the screen right now.
Oh, so beautiful. Can you tell us about some of these other artists, other than the one you just mentioned? What are some of their backgrounds? How excited are they to have their art displayed on the merchandise mart?
Yeah, the work that was featured in this projection is a lot more abstract work and colorful because it works better on a projection setting on the MART. These artists are also featured in our current exhibition at the Design Museum of Chicago, which is our retrospective show highlighting 25 artists over 25 years. Veronica Kukulich is one of our founding artists who passed away back in 2010. So we have a mixture of former artists and current artists that are still at the studio. Current artists that are at the studio still making work that are featured in our museum exhibition, and their work will be on display and for sale in our upcoming benefit auction on October 4th. Maria Vanek, Stephen Harhai, Marcelo Agnon. Their work is also in the projection and featured as well.
Vincent, I think about when we talk about art and intellectual disabilities and people with disabilities in general, maybe you deal with high stress jobs, etc. You hear people say, get a coloring book. I've had people to say that. Get a coloring book, get you some crayons, it will kind of soothe you. Tell me how this art really helps the people that you serve.
Yeah, our studio is a artist first, collective. We really try to give ownership and decision making back to our studio artists. We support over 80 artists, adult artists with intellectual and developmental disabilities along within 3 different studio locations, one in Chicago's Westtown neighborhood off Carroll and Damon. We have a location in the North Shore suburbs in Glenview, as well as on the south side in Woodlawn. Our artists, we provide studio space and supplies for our artists to make their own choices, they have ownership over the studio. So it's really self-driven, and we really try to encourage them to take leadership in our studio and have a voice. We want the work recognized and seen as contemporary art, and not just appreciated because it's made by somebody with a disability. The disability isn't the primary factor of why we're appreciating the work. And so the work really stands on its own. Everyone has their own unique vision and approach, and we really try to support that as much as we can.
I love it.
So I want to hear a little bit more about Arts of Life. Did you say that they can kind of come and go as they'd like, or is there certain classes that they attend, or certain hours that they need to be there? You said they take it as they'd like, correct?
Yeah, great question. So we operate as a collective studio for all of our artists. We're open Monday through Friday for them to come in, basically from 9 to 3. We provide studio space, supplies, support staff. It's really a self-driven process. While arts education arts education and art therapy is sort of an intrinsic quality of what happens in our studio, we don't consider ourselves an art therapy program. We really see ourselves as a professional art studio for our artists. So if they come in and want to explore a different medium or a different subject matter, we're there to support them. We're not dictating the work or telling them what to do or how to do it. We want them to run with their own ideas. We do provide opportunities for them to visit galleries and museums or participate in demonstrations or art history talks or critiques, but that's really all supplemental and optional if they want to participate in that. There's not a curriculum that they are expected to follow. What we look for is a sustained interest in art making, and many of our artists really thrive in that and are inspired by each other to continue to make work.
Vincent, I think a lot of people here in Chicago and the tourists, they're really loving going over by the MART to see what will be up there this time around. When can people go by and start to see this art, and how long will it last?
Yeah, great question. So it'll open September 11th and run through October 5th. And then again, it'll premiere in December in sort of the colder months. The projection timeline will screen Thursdays through Sunday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. There's great seating along the Riverwalk if you haven't been down there. You could see From the street level, you can enjoy the merchandise mart, or from, many different sidewalks. But if you go down the steps to the Riverwalk, there's seating and there's places to hang out there. So would really encourage folks to come and do that. You'll hear the audio as well from down at the Riverwalk.
One of my favorite spots.
Yeah, it is a beautiful spot, and he just made me think that it's about to get cold here because he says 7:30, so that means the sun will be down.
While it's warm out, now's the time to go out and enjoy the warm weather.
Thanks a lot. There goes my mood. Hey, do you have a big group that's going to be there on September 11th that's going to see it go on display for the first time?
We're definitely going to try to organize. It's organizing transportation for some of our folks can be a little bit tricky, especially with mobility issues, but we'll be organizing various groups of artists from our studios and our staff members to come down and watch the screening then.
Let me ask you this. Someone watching right now, maybe they want to support the mission of the organization. How can they support Arts of Life?
Yeah, there's various ways to get involved. Our website, artsoflife.org, has a Get Involved tab. We take volunteers and interns all year round. Board members who want to get involved, both with fundraising and personal connections with supporting the organization. We are doing our October 4th, it's our annual benefit auction gala dance party. I always say we do a non-traditional benefit. We're not a stuffy organization. We try to have fun. There's going to be a big dance party October 4th at Epiphany Center for the Arts. Tickets are on sale for that right now. A lot of the work by some of these artists will be up for both silent and live auction at that event. And so we encourage folks to come and hang out, party with us, and help us raise money to support Arts of Life.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Not a stuffy organization. Yeah. Guess what? ChicagoNOW is not stuffy.
No, it's not. Vincent, real quick, were you about to ask something?
Well, Vincent, I don't know how long you've been with Arts of Life, but have you seen maybe an artist that you work with? Have you seen them start and then kind of finish and see their work on display or even bought, and how it changes that person?
Yeah, I mean, getting our work out and appreciated by the larger public, it is really life-changing for a lot of our artists, both the exposure that they have to their work, the sales revenue that it might generate. But I mean, there's several artists. One that comes to mind immediately is one of our artists, Marcus Kennedy. When he first came into our studio, very little experience with art making, but as he started to explore different mediums, see what his peers were making in the studio, and really get inspired by other folks around him, his work has really come into a life of its own. He's really inspired by music, and we've shown his work in international settings and Expo Chicago and various high-profile exhibitions, including the show at the Design Museum of Chicago. So it's really great to be able to bring the artists and see their work in these settings, and have them get excited about it as well.
Yeah, we're looking at some of the beautiful art now, and that was partly going to be my question too, because I think sometimes people forget, being an artist is not easy. This is not easy work, and to have perhaps a medical issue along with it could pose a lot of challenges. These artists, is this their full-time jobs? Is this their full-time passion?
Yeah, so for most of our artists, it depends on who we're talking about. Most of our artists do come to us 5 days a week, so Monday through Friday. We do have some artists that are part-time and come a couple days a week, but for the most part, we really try to push this as our artists are working towards a full-time career, making work, and we want to support their practice in as many ways as we can.
Yeah, I love what you're doing. Maybe we can come there and see it in action, do a story on it. I love it.
We would love to have you by for a tour. We have regular gallery exhibitions at our Chicago location in Westtown. There's an opening coming up at the end of the month. So yeah, always open to visitors and tours as well.
Well, I'm thinking that next Sunday night, that's calling my name. A nice little, maybe even a little cocktail on the river.
Totally.
Oh, seeing
you may
it come
want
to
a
life.
Pumpkin spice latte by that time.
I'm going to need something sweet, something good. Thank you so much, Vincent, for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Take it easy.
Thanks for being with us. Bye-bye. That's what I love about Chicago. There's so many, by Chicago being really a world-class city, there's so many amazing organizations in and around Chicago that are taking care of people, helping people, because you go to some of these small places, and if you do have a disability, you're kind of like an outcast. There's no place for you to fit in. And so here, there's so many different organizations that are doing, kind of like what Arts of Life is doing, maybe not in that same vein, but in other veins that are helping so many people.
I know, I tip my hat to so many organizations here, because that really is life-changing. What they can offer these artists and to display their work, to have it auctioned off, it is really huge. I have a question for you. You said your mom worked at the Merchandise Mart.
Yes, for years.
Have they always done like art?
It wasn't always there, and I don't know how long ago they put up that technology. Okay. But when she worked there, no, it was literally like a place for just strictly she worked there at the CTA, but it was showrooms. I used to love that part because you would see all the sample sales that would happen. I was a little kid, and you could walk around and see sample sales for furniture, some things for fashion, but mostly a lot of household things. And I used to love sometimes I would get lost in that building on purpose as a little kid to be able to go to all the different little stores that were in there.
I've been to a few
studios,
a few shows there, and it's incredible.
It is
even better when you see that wonderful art displayed. Okay, we'll have to watch for that starting on the 11th. Okay.
It's gonna be good.
And we'll be right back with a lot more right after this break. Welcome back to Chicago Now. All right, so if you're in the market for baby formula, you might be a bit confused. You may have seen formula products, of course, on the shelves, but some are marketed for toddlers. Maybe you know a little bit more, Tia, since you have a toddler at home.
Yes.
But these milks are literally called toddler milks. Now, it's causing some controversy, and we have a doctor joining us, Dr. Mark Fishbein, an associate professor of pediatrics at Northwestern University and Feinberg School of Medicine. Thank you so much, doctor, for joining us. I guess my first question is, what are these toddler milks, and why are they controversial?
Well, the major thing is that they aren't necessarily as standardized or necessary as infant formulas or breast milk. So by the time an infant has outgrown that, then generally we can transition to whole milk with very little concern. So these other additives or nutrients that are in toddler's formula aren't necessarily indicated or needed in that population.
Doctor, I think about when I grew up, and the first thing I remember, back in the day hearing, and even when I had my child not too long ago, was, when they get to a certain age, you just give them regular milk. You just go buy regular milk from the grocery store, you hand them that, and that's enough. What's in this milk that's different from buying your whole milk in a carton or 2% milk over at the grocery store?
It's a good question. In general, we don't vary much from what you're saying. So we like toddlers to still be on whole milk until age 2, with the fat reduction not necessarily something we recommend at an earlier. The way to think about these specific toddler formulas is that they have other nutrients that are sort of associated with infant formulas, but once again aren't necessarily needed in a typically developing child. So there are very rare instances that we actually recommend them.
So there could be instances where maybe a child is struggling with their development, where these toddler milks might be more necessary.
It's possible, but if a child was really challenged in terms of their calorie needs or protein needs, then we would often recommend a caloric supplement on top of the a toddler formula. So once again, it's sort of a very narrow field where we'd actually prescribe them.
So is this, because it kind of makes me think, like, if I'm a parent, I walk into, let's say, a Walmart or a random grocery store, and I see these, and I never saw it before. Is this almost the equivalent to, when you're about to check out and they have all the candy bars there for you to intentionally go and grab it? Is this essentially like a money grab?
Yeah, marketing tactic.
I think that in terms of niche, there isn't really a niche for healthy toddlers. So parents who are interested in a healthy diet would certainly pick whole milk off the shelf for them, and otherwise a healthy diet if they're otherwise eating a healthy diet, then they're not going to need the toddler enriched formulas.
Now, Dr. Antia, in here it reads, there are lawsuits filed by parents arguing that these drinks are not a necessary part of the diet and can cause harm due to excessive sugar and manipulative packaging. Are these necessarily dangerous? It doesn't seem so. It just seems like they're really not beneficial.
Yeah, I would consider them in that category where they're not necessarily harmful. It may be misleading for people to think that there is some benefit for their child to be on this type of product instead of whole milk. So from that standpoint, it may be misleading, but certainly not dangerous.
I do want to add on to that Abbott Nutrition, who's responsible for the Go and Grow line from Similac, says that their children's products are properly labeled and that their claims are backed by data. In prior cases, similar suits have often been dismissed or partially dismissed. Let me ask you this. If a parent is watching right now, maybe they've seen these, maybe they've actually made a purchase of one of these and they've been confused. What should a toddler's nutrition look like? Nutritional intake?
Well, at the point of being a toddler, they have successfully transitioned to solid foods. So their diet would be very well rounded in terms of meats and vegetables and fruits. So that would be what you would understand to be a typical diet. Also, there should be milk, 2 to 3 cups a day. So I think our focus is making sure that healthy children are getting those things. Just as important to limit the amount of juice that they're getting and try to stick with the healthy diet as much as possible. We as pediatric gastroenterologists do not find much of a role for toddler supplements. So I would have to say that in terms of a parent at a grocery store, this isn't necessarily the products that I would recommend at this point.
Got it.
You know, doctor, you're probably not necessarily in the baby aisle all that often, but, or maybe you are, but is it frustrating, you know, having parents come to you, or maybe you even seeing in the grocery store or Target, Walmart, and seeing these kind of what seems like to be money grabs
Trendy
in the aisles?
I think that it can be a bit confusing for the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that. But I think that pediatricians are all aware of what the healthy choices should be and what the proper choices are. So I think that if there are questions, parents can ask their pediatrician, or if they have access to a dietitian, that would be helpful as well. I think that there may be few instances where we would recommend a toddler formula with toddler supplement, but it isn't that frequent.
Let me ask you this, because you did mention whole milk. What if you find out that your child has an intolerance to whole milk? What do you do in that case?
Well, it depends on the type of intolerance. There are it's sort of a loose definition there. So I think what I will emphasize right now is allergy, which people are mostly acquainted with, where you drink something and something happens that appears to be an adverse reaction.
Right.
So the first step, if possible, is to try a soy product. Sometimes there is overlap in terms of allergic response. And then there are other milk products that are similar in terms of protein. For instance, pea milk has become very popular, and it matches the protein content pretty well with whole milk. So there are alternatives like that.
Perfect.
Well, we've all survived by this point without any toddler milk, so I would be safe to say that, yes, as you've said, maybe it's not necessary. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. I know that we really drilled you with some hard questions there, but you took it like a champ and you gave some really good advice, and we appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate that, and we do have a feeding clinic at Central DuPage Hospital that I'm a Lurie doctor, and so if people do have questions or have concerns regarding their child's nutrition or feeding issues, certainly we welcome the referrals.
Yeah, well, you know what, if you don't mind, because we have a lot of time in the show, that's the joy of it. Can you mention a little bit more about that class and how people can get involved, or maybe some of the key takeaways that you teach?
We see a lot of infants and children that have nutritional issues and feeding issues, and there aren't a lot of outlets out there for children who have, and infants and children who have those type of problems. So we have set up a multidisciplinary clinic that I'm proud to be the director of, that includes well-established expertise in with speech therapy, occupational therapy, dietitian, and myself. And we see lots of challenging cases. We welcome them. And we see children in Chicago and surrounding areas, and the type of situations that we deal with include children that have milk allergy or have nutritional issues that are challenging.
Can you give the website? Because maybe a mom or a dad is watching right now, they don't really know where to go. Where can they go to find out more?
Well, the LarryChildren's.org website has information about our multidisciplinary feeding clinic. So they can go there. If they want an appointment, they can simply call 1-800-KIDS-DOC and ask for the feeding clinic that's run by Dr. Fishbein, and they'll be given an appointment. But we've been doing this for many, many years, and there's a great deal of satisfaction in helping this clientele. As you can imagine, it's very stressful for parents who have children that have such demanding needs and so little expertise out there.
Yeah, especially when you want them to grow, and they have so many benchmarks that they have to reach. Correct. So you're absolutely right. Dr. Fishbein, we appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. And you guys have a good day.
You too.
Do the same.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, very insightful.
It has to
there.
be so overwhelming to have that first child, and like you
have
said,
no
hit the
idea.
Benchmarks. Oh my goodness, I'm so overwhelmed. I would have been that mom who's probably grabbing the toddler milk off the shelf and saying, "All right,
let's give it a go.
This is it. Let's give it a go."
Yeah.
Oh, this is why I love this show. Okay, well, we have much more when we come back.
You look like you're like, oh,
I'm
finally.
Relaxed, yeah.
We'll be right back.
Because I don't have a kid yet. Welcome back to Chicago Now for the last time on digital, because tomorrow
is a huge day. Are you ready?
We're going to be on your small screen, baby.
Yes, this is like a really big deal.
It is, yeah. Tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. for our friends Anthony and Caitlin. Caitlin, I think, is going to be out tomorrow, but Anthony's going to have a co-host sitting in with him. We're going to be on air on Fox 32, so make sure you watch us there. Well, you can continue to watch us on digital too.
Do you think it'll be like a nervous feeling? Like
I think
once
so.
You'll have to
you'll have to tell me, because I won't be here.
The thing is, do you think about what you say? Do you say things differently now that you have perhaps a bigger audience watching?
It's funny because this show we know is so casual. We can sneak in little questions, things like that. Oh my gosh, what's up with my hair?
See, you can't do that on TV.
That. Can I do that on TV? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think I'm going to do it anyways.
Me
I think
too.
I'm going to make sure that in my head it's no different than digital.
Yeah, you're the same way.
Maybe I can clean myself up a little bit, I think.
I mean, what else can you do to perfection?
Oh, stop. Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more.
We have a big day tomorrow, though.
We do. Mm-hmm.
So I know we were talking Real Housewives franchise.
Yep.
We didn't get Luann.
Luann de Lesseps.
She will be on tomorrow.
She's known as a countess from the OG Real Housewives of New York. Excuse me.
And now she's like in the cabaret space, and they're coming to Chicago. So that's going to be really interesting.
Yep.
And then we have Dan Katz from Barstool, who would be here as well. So we still, the show is still, it's still packed and fun. And so, it'll just be more people watching this time around.
We are so excited for it.
Yes.
And I will see you in about a week and a half. I'm getting
'cause
married. I'm getting
married.
hitched, baby.
Congratulations. You deserve it. I'm happy that you're all in love and everything. And we'll see you when you come back. You'll have a different glow after marriage, and then it'll fade, and then you'll be dull.
I've been telling them I can just let myself
I'm
go
just
now.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
After he's on the line, I can just let myself go.
No, you won't do that. But take your time in having kids. And remember, I said that.
You got it. Okay.
It's a lot of work.
Advice of the year.
It's a whole nother job.
Oh, I just heard the last interview. Trust me. I'm okay for right now. I'm good.
All right. Congratulations to you, Gabby. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.